My name is Chad Leaming. I'm going to try to introduce myself here. I haven't done enough Chico Shokai in Japan, I guess. But let's see here. Where to start? I was born in America and uh, grew up mostly around North Carolina. Following high school, I joined a band, much to my dad's dismay, and and was working at a Japanese restaurant called Hakata, by the way, and that kind of led me randomly to doing a homestay in Japan. Um, I went on to university at East Carolina University and studied graphic design and painting. And after graduating from there, I went hiking for about a month through the Appalachian Trail. After that, I joined JET and did 2 years in Kitaura-cho, which is the smallest, tiniest speck you'll ever see in any place in the world. After 2 years there, I escaped and made it down to Miyazaki City and have lived there for the last 5 years. Currently, I'm traveling a little bit through Britain and enjoying the sun today. Okay, if I were to try and describe myself, I guess I'd have to say I'm a pretty laid back guy. I'm enthusiastic once I get motivated for something, once I have my mind set on something. But I always resume that laid back persona once that's been completed. I try to stay very open minded, and I consider myself pretty easy to get along with. I think other people consider me that way as well. Um, Professionally, I take my commitments very seriously. I, uh, I try not to start something that I can't finish. I also, most importantly in working, I think, is just keeping the job as interesting as possible. I think that's especially true for teachers. Obviously, if you're teaching in a classroom and you're bored, the students are more than likely 3 or 4 times as bored as you are. Um, I think uh, I think one thing I really have going for me is I'm willing to put in the hours. After two startup businesses, you learn that long hours are just a part of getting anything done. When we were starting JKIO, I was working 6 to 7 days a week, um, and some fairly long hours during that time for about half the pay I was getting on Jet. And I think that leads me into the next important thing is to focus on the goal that you're looking for, the result, and maybe not so much the time that you're putting in. Keep your eyes on the prize, I guess they say. Love cliches. I have quite a few interests, probably about a million, but I'll try and keep it down to the top 20. I love scuba diving, hiking, reading. I read just tons of books, as many as I get my hands on, I think. Um, in university, I studied fine arts with a degree in graphic design and illustration, so I continue that these days. Logos or posters, woodblock prints, painting, just sketching. I love it. Okay, so this is my workspace where I've been doing my paintings. This is one that's in process right now. I'd have to say my other love besides art would be martial arts, in terms of hobbies, that is. Uh, I'm kind of a lifelong martial artist. I've studied a little bit of everything from the time I was about 16 years old. Most recently, I met a gentleman in Japan who was teaching me to throw shuriken, so that was pretty exciting for me. You don't just run into those kind of guys every day. But I've studied karate, mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, jujitsu, quite a variety of things. Been very fortunate to run into some good people. Recently, another interest that I've become quite involved in is charity work. I've been working with a group, Body Body for Kids. I'm one of four co-founders there, or one of four founders, I should say. And we've visited Bali a couple of times, playing with the kids, taking them money for education. We've been able to put about 82 kids. It varies depending on the time of year, through their entire school courses. So Been very pleased with that, and hoping to continue that sort of work, and that's kind of where PeaceBoat comes in, I think. Professionally, in terms of my experience, I've got a TEFL. I've taught 2 years on jet out in the Inaka, so I'm pretty used to being in a kind of confined space with all my students nearby. Um, I've taught 5 years in Eikaiwa, so probably the youngest I've taught is about 2, and the oldest probably close to 62, but I can teach older if need be. We've started with one school a friend and I started a business together, and we've built it up to 3 schools, probably about 20 hoikuens, a couple of shogakos, and senmon-gakos as well. So it's gone quite well. I also have a fairly advanced level in Japanese, I think, which is really good in terms of teaching grammar, vocabulary, some of the more difficult words like look, see, and watch, or something like that, those kind of comparative vocabulary words, as well as with pronunciation, and understanding what words and what phrases Japanese people have a hard time getting out of their mouths. I suspect that the applicants that have made it this far in the application process kind of have the same or I should say similar qualifications and similar experiences, not unlike my own. But I feel that I have a strong advantage just in my amount of expertise. I've invested the time, I've learned the language, I've dealt with Eikaiwa moms and customers on a personal one-to-one level. I've worked in close with the Board of Education in various schools and other kinds of institutions. So I feel like I might have just that extra bit of experience that might be lacking in some of the other CVs. Also, I'd like to mention in closing, I'm very enthusiastic about PeaceBoat's core aims, and I honestly believe that I can do as well as or a better job than any of the other applicants applying. I'd just like to thank you all for your time.